Chapter 6. The Himavanta Forest. What I saw now was a lush green forest interspersed with meadows. The air was clear. There were small and large rolling hills. There were various kinds of fruits. Inside, it was like another world. Looking up, there was a bright blue sky with scattered white clouds. And there was indeed a sun, just as Bosch had said. It floated above our heads, and most surprisingly, there were many strange-looking creatures living here. The first group I saw were people who looked like birds. They had wings and could fly. There were both men and women. I saw them playing in the water, happily in the stream that flowed down to the mouth of the circular shaft I had come up through. Nearby, I saw a group of mermaids. They had human-like upper bodies but fishtails, both male and female. Several were diving and swimming in the stream. And most astonishingly, on the other side of the opening I had come through, there was a dense growth of large trees, and on 2 or 3 of them the fruits were in the shape of humans, hanging in bunches all over the trees. WOWWWW. Sir, where is this place? I'm completely confused. It's like a world within a world, and there are strange creatures, like in fairy tales, or the legends of the mythical Himavanta Forest. I exclaimed in disbelief. Yes, this is the origin of those stories, he replied. Then why has no one ever known about these places before? I asked. Actually, this matter is not a secret to you at all. Some of you have known, have seen, have experienced, and have gone back to tell others that there are places like this hidden in the world. But when you hear about it, you usually think that the person telling such stories is delusional. Countless people from your world have visited here, but the information they brought back might only be partial because they didn't see everything, or they saw different places, because in fact, there are many such places on Earth, he explained. There are many such places, I asked. Yes, there are some in the ocean, some underground, some under the polar ice caps, and some floating above the Earth's atmosphere and behind your moon, he replied. Then why doesn't anyone see? I mean, why can't scientists detect them? I asked. As I told you, it is not easy for you to detect the locations of these places as long as you are using the technology you currently use. It would be like using knowledge from the Iron Age to try to detect or explain the wireless technology that your global society is currently using. But still, I think it should be possible to prove that such places really exist. And they are not small at all, I insisted. Size is not a confirmation of whether it can be detected or not. I will compare it this way. The method you use is like the wind, and the method I use is like light, he explained. How does it relate to wind and light? I wondered. If you turn on a flashlight, the source of light from the left, so that it shines to the right, and on the other side you turn on a fan that generates wind from the right, so that it blows to the left. Do you think the wind will be an obstacle, or be able to change the direction of the light? No, I replied immediately. Why not, even though you know that both things really exist? He continued. Well, they are different forms. I tried to find an answer. Exactly, because they have different levels of intensity. Light has no properties whatsoever that are similar to wind. So if you use an instrument that is only capable of detecting the existence of wind, you will never be able to use that instrument to detect the existence of light at all, because they are completely different forms, he explained. Let alone these things, even simple phenomena like thunder, lightning, tornadoes, earthquakes, volcanic eruptions that you see so often. You know they exist, but you still don't know what their true causes are. Instead, you use methods or principles of thinking to prove things based on the measurements you have. So it's a matter of making assumptions based on your own knowledge, and then concluding that those phenomena must have causes from what you know and what you can perceive. It is this way of thinking that is the flaw of scientists on your world, who often think they know the ultimate truth, even though history has consistently shown them that the truths they believed 100 years ago are often not the truths of today. So what they believe to be the truest today might not be true in another 100 years either. Do you understand? He explained, asking for confirmation. I understand somewhat. And who are the people who can perceive the existence of this place? I asked. Only those who are allowed to enter. No one enters by accident. Sometimes they might say they got lost and wandered in. But in reality, we intentionally let them in, he replied. But it's quite difficult to get lost and wander in, because it was quite mysterious and complex for me to get in, I observed. Only the location in the middle of the ocean and the vessel buried underground are difficult and complex. The vessel embedded under the polar ice cap has a less complex entrance, he explained. All right, I will take you to visit my residence now, he invited. Yes, okay, I quickly agreed. Then I felt Bosch slightly pull my hand up, and we both floated upwards immediately. We moved at a fairly high speed. I looked at the surrounding scenery with amazement. Everything looked beautiful and strange, like a fairy tale. It didn't seem to exist on this world. This place was abundant with various kinds of forests. Each tree had vibrant colors, from light green to dark green, red, yellow, and purple. There were various kinds of flowers and many different species of fruit, looking no different from those on the planet Thungra. Sir, this place is very similar to Thungra, I said. Yes. It is a suitable environment for the habitation of all species, he replied. And those winged humans I saw, are they the same species as us? I asked. We call them the winged humans. We brought them from a planet in your solar system, he replied. And are they like us? I mean, in terms of character or way of life? I asked. They only resemble us in their outward appearance, but their minds are like wild animals. That is, they live by wandering around, gathering fruit to eat, living in groups, sleeping under trees, without building permanent dwellings. They have a peaceful, non-aggressive nature, he explained. Like ordinary wild animals, I observed. And can they fly like birds? I continued. Whether you can say they fly, it's not exactly flying. They do have wings, but their use of wings is mostly just gliding from high to low places. But on their original world, they could really fly because the gravity there is lower and the air density is slightly higher than here, he added. In that case, this place isn't really a suitable place for them, is it? I asked. That's right, but their original world also had some things that made it less habitable than here, he replied. Why? I continued. Because other species of beings would visit there, and because these winged humans were naive. They were often captured and violated by those beings, he replied. In the past, we brought some of them to this world, but they were also violated by humans. In the end, we brought them here, which is the safest place. And what about the merfolk I saw? Are they the same? I continued. You call them merfolk, right? They also have the minds of wild animals. but they are slightly different in that they are carnivores. Their temperament is therefore different from that of the winged humans. They are hunters, so they travel everywhere in search of food. Therefore, these merfolk are common throughout your world. Before long, Bosch guided me closer to a mountainous terrain with a city on it. Here, there were various sizes of clean white circular buildings, some small, some large, arranged close together. Most of the buildings were tower-like with many tiered spires. Walkways connected them back and forth, and people were bustling about. Flower gardens were scattered throughout the city. In the sky, various shapes of small aircraft flew back and forth. Some were like the common white lights, some were shiny metal, and some were long bars. In the center of the city, which seemed to be the focal point, stood the largest and tallest circular building. The color of all the buildings was translucent white, looking like crystal and seeming to emit a light from within. "Oh wow, this is a city," I said, referring to what I saw before me. "Yes, this is my dwelling city, and your understanding is correct. All the structures here are made of crystal, which is the main material of this vessel. Its luminescence acts as a built-in light source. Here, at night, it will be illuminated by the light from these crystals, but it will be a soft light, just enough to see what is what," he added. As soon as he finished speaking, he guided me directly towards that largest building. This building had 4 entrances, like 4 directional gates at ground level. The lower part of the building had a wide, flared base like a trumpet's mouth, while the upper part gradually tapered upwards into a tall spire. The top of the spire flared out into a shape like 2 saucers placed together, with a considerable gap in the middle. Several large pillars were arranged connecting the 2 saucers. Above the 2 saucers, the spire tapered sharply upwards again, with a small circular room at the very top, which I thought was a room because I saw windows surrounding it. He guided me into the center between the 2 saucers. After passing through the row of large pillars, we reached a wide open space. This space was large, roughly estimated to be about 200 to 300 meters wide. Upon reaching the center of this space, a circular opening about 30 to 40 meters wide could be seen above the ceiling. Then, he guided me to float up through that opening in the ceiling immediately. Normally, this is the entrance for my aircraft and those of my friends who live in this building. And this is also where they park. See there, it's parked right there. He pointed upwards. When I looked up in the direction he pointed, I saw dozens of gleaming golden flying saucers hovering in mid-air. Then we floated into the interior, which was a large, open hall. I scanned my surroundings. The sight that appeared made me surprised again. Instead of the hall being filled with equipment or various structures, as I had imagined from watching space movies, where the command deck or control center usually looked like machinery or structures, displaying advanced technology. This was the complete opposite. The floor below was a garden of various kinds of crops, grains, and fruits. "Oh, how can these plants grow like this?" "They can. I will explain to you in detail how its mechanism works later," he replied.